I chose to be a faculty of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigrahachalam Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyana cha grihyati.
What was the response of your parents when you decided to become a monk?
Initially, the response was shock.
What is the very difference between religionism and spirituality?
Spirituality is like healthcare. Religion is allopathy, Ayurveda. That's why the temple is called Mandir. Mandir means hospital for the mind.
गृहस्थ जीवन में जो भी issues होती हैं, how do you manage to do that? You yourself being a monk.
See, somebody may be a cardiac surgeon.
जी.
Doesn't mean he must have had few heart attacks.
Clarity needs to be there regarding moksha.
In our context, the examination is the moment of death. Cracking those exams is equivalent to moksha. The goal is I prioritize my relationship with Ishwar. Sadhana is very important. Bhajanera madhye shreshta navavida bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhare mahashakti.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sree Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Radhe Krishna Radhe Krishna Radhe Radhe Krishna Krishna. Namaskar, hello and hi friends. Welcome to Baatcheet with Suparna. What a better way to begin something special, the first episode of our new podcast, than with the heartfelt gupshup and meaningful Baatcheet. We are excited to bring to you a brand new series, Baatcheet with Suparna. And what could be more auspicious, dosto, than starting this journey on a spiritually uplifting note? We are truly privileged to launch our very first episode of Baatcheet with Suparna. Hare Krishna and warm welcome to this inaugural episode. Today our guest, जी दोस्तों, आज के guest हमारे कौन हैं? आज के guest हैं हमारे. We are deeply honored to be joined by the revered spiritual leader, a senior monk of the Iskcon movement, and an inspiring orator, Gauranga Das Prabhu. Through his wisdom, humility, and deep compassion, he has touched countless hearts across the world. So let's begin this beautiful journey of reflection, learning, and soulful conversation. Viewers, please join me in welcoming Gauranga Das Prabhu to the show. Hare Krishna Prabhu ji.
Namaste.
We are glad and we are honored and privileged to have you with us today in our first episode of Baatcheet with Suparna. So, Prabhuji, you are a respected, revered, known, very well known monk, Prabhuji, and we all know you as Gauranga Prabhuji. But before being Gauranga Prabhuji, you are in news nowadays. Nowadays, nahi, in fact, from shuru se hi aap, because you're such a good orator. You speak fluently, and your spirituality, you exude spirituality. So, before being Gauranga Prabhuji, who is you? Who are you rather? And what has been your early life from a beautiful and brilliant leap of being an engineer to a monk?
Thank you, Suparna ji, first of all, and congratulations for inaugurating a wonderful series. And I hope that many, many souls get benefited from the positivity which you will share through knowledge and wisdom. Basically, my parents were in Bhilai, and there is a steel plant, Bhilai steel plant. My father used to be an engineer there, and I did till my 12th standard at Bhilai. So it's a steel town, so it's in Chhattisgarh now, near Raipur. People from all over India come there to work. So that gives you a cosmopolitan background. And I would say that was a major impact on my personality as such, where you learn to navigate amongst the diversity which Bharat has. So it was a very unique experience, and Bhilai is a wonderful, cozy town where the culture is all very family-like. So I would say that many times we underestimate the effect of social situations and family situations. So both in my family, where I had more than 25 cousins, first cousins, because it was a large family, and also in Bhilai, where we had a wonderful group of families who were close knit, and also other friends. So there was a lot of close emotional bonding at the social level, which helps stabilize a person emotionally, mentally, socially, and all of those benefits I am now reaping in my later life and utilizing to the full extent in my service to society. And therefore, I feel that as India is becoming close to the third largest economy in the world, and economic development has become a quite prominent feature in people's lives, they should not underestimate or neglect what India traditionally always had, which is close family bonds and close social bonds. So I would say that that's the story of my upbringing and growing up. Otherwise, traditionally, we are from the temple priests community from Palakkad in Kerala. My mother is from Kalpati, Lakshminarayan temple priest, and my father is from Alamballam in also Palakkad, where there is a beautiful temple of Varadaraj Perumal. So we were all originally the South Indian temple priests, but then because of change in the profile of profession of my father, everything changed. Then I landed up in IIT. And then when I was in IIT, then I connected with the Bhagavad Gita and the Iskcon devotees, and then I thought I should become a teacher of the Gita and share narratives on the Gita from the perspective where people can apply in their lives.
So this was a transition. I mean, in IIT, you actually started. I mean, Geeta. Apart from your family background, of course, which has shaped your childhood and adulthood, but then this decision of, see, you could have done, IIT and then a job and still be a grihastha, preacher, but this huge decision of, I wouldn't say leaving everything, because by the kind of work you and other revered monks do for the society, that's actually more than what we do. That's far more than what we do. So definitely not, I wouldn't say leaving the world behind, but actually leaving the family and leaving the grihastha ashram and taking this decision of becoming a monk, which you said how your family, your background, your academic shaped the Gita, your interest in Bhagavad Gita. But what made you decide, to leave all these and then become a monk and create a different life for other people, and also not only to enhance yourself as a human being, but actually, enhancing everybody's life as a human being? So what made you decide to become a monk?
Thank you, Suparnaji. I would say that people have many kinds of thoughts and ideas about what monkhood is all about.
Ji, ji.
I would say, in a very simple way, that when someone is an engineer or a doctor, then majority of the engineers and doctors go and practice as part of the profession. But some of them also decide that I want to come back and become a faculty in a medical college, in an engineering college. They prefer academics, they prefer teaching as a profession because they like going deep into the research of that subject. They like sharing with others the knowledge. So similarly, in the study of the Shastras, scriptures, Vedic philosophy, the Bhagavad Gita also, there is the majority of the people who will follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. Because Gita was spoken not to a monk, but to Arjuna, who was a grihastha. So therefore, Krishna very clearly mentions that the application of the Gita does not require one to be a monk.
Exactly.
And even the teaching of the Gita can be done by everybody.
Ji.
But still, there are a few people who prefer to dedicate themselves completely and absorb themselves completely in the study of the Bhagavad Gita, unpack its innermost secrets in detail, and share it with the world in the right context. So you can say that I chose to be a faculty of the Bhagavad Gita and chose research and academics of the Gita over applying the Gita in the regular life. So I teach people how they can apply the Gita in their practical life in terms of their body, their family, their money, and their assets, and their property, and everything. How Gita connects to everything. So, therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigrahachalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyana cha grihyate. The mind is very, very fickle, but to control the mind, you need two things: practice and detachment. And that practice and detachment is what we are teaching to people, how they can apply the Gita in their lives. So I would say that even if you look at those who are in the army, they are making a lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely.
I know Jawans who are newly married, and the wife is in great anxiety. What will happen when the husband is at the border and there is an active combat happening? So, in fact, different professions do have different kinds of sacrifices and austerities involved. And similarly, in our life also, there are specific lifestyle choices which we have made,
Ji.
which creates a certain kind of austerities and sacrifices mandatory. So I would say that we should look at society as a diverse group of individuals who's contributing
Ji.
to actually make things positive for others by resolving their problems.
Absolutely. I mean, so superbly and well put, Prabhuji, because for us who want and who are interested in knowing more about life, knowing in depth about, the monkhood, the spirituality rather, but we somehow get mixed, information. So everybody is talking good, everybody is saying good, but to choose, which one suits you, which is the right thing. So it is very important. So what you said, I think, is going to help all our viewers, because you simplify the very difficult sayings of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna said it in a very simple way, but we do not understand maybe it in that simple way. So thank you so much for making it so
Thank
simple
you.
for us, Prabhuji. And so there is a subtle or maybe a vast difference between religionism and spirituality. And people get confused. When you say spirituality, people think that doing puja and doing all the, chores and rasm and rivas, the rituals. But then I have noticed, Prabhuji, that people are so much engrossed in counting that they actually are not, their mind is not on God. Their mind is into counting कि मैंने 108 बार जाप किया कि नहीं, बट आप जिनका नाम जाप कर रहे हो वहाँ से उनका ध्यान हट जाता है. So how would you tell us, or explain to us perhaps, or teach us what is the very difference, and also what is the similarity and the similar things between religionism and spirituality?
Spirituality is like healthcare. Healthcare providers help relieve pain of the body. That's healthcare. So that's spirituality.
Ji.
Religion is allopathy, Ayurveda, naturopathy, homeopathy, the various different varieties of healthcare providers. That is religion. So the ultimate industry, if you want to call it, or the genre of spirituality is to provide relief from the pain of the mind. We help people relieve the pain of their mind. That's why the temple is called Mandir. Mandir means hospital for the mind.
Wow.
And the cause for the pain for the mind is when there is a misidentification of the mind with the body, with the husband or wife, with the children, with money, with house, with prestige, with social acceptance, with power, career. So these misidentifications create the expectation that I should maintain my status quo with respect to all this. But these relationships and identities go on changing. When they go on changing, then you get bewildered.
True.
So therefore the cause of all anxiety and fear is change. So change in the identity is what causes fear.
True.
So therefore, when we speak about temples, what we are doing in the temple, which is known as a mandir, we are helping people realize that there is an identity beyond these changing identities which does not change. That is your identity as a soul, Atma. So when you start the process that now, henceforward, I will acknowledge my primary identity as a soul. That is known as spiritual process. Adhyatmik Gyan.
Adhyatmik.
So now the method of cutting your identification with material, with body, with wife, husband, children, and then transforming and prioritizing your identity as a soul. That process of going from matter to spirit is enabled through various processes. So those processes are Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, which help you go through that process and help you with that identification as a soul. Ultimate goal of all is to help you identify that I am Atma, Jiva, soul. I am connected to Ishwar, Paramatma through the process of Sanatan Seva. So Atma Sanatan, Paramatma Sanatan, Seva Sanatan. So that is what is known as Sanatan Dharma. So therefore, people should not confuse healthcare with allopathy, Ayurveda, naturopathy, homeopathy. These are methods by which you can actually attain perfect health.
Correct. So basically, these are different ways of reaching the same goal. So people take different paths, and then again, as you rightly said, they are reaching the same goal. The motive is the same.
Yes, but the problem is in regular conversations, people don't emphasize on the gravity of that goal.
Correct.
The goal is I prioritize my relationship with Ishwar. That means I begin the day with that.
Yes.
My role as CEO, CTO, COO, wife, mother, this, that, all those roles come later.
Correct.
So therefore, just by saying that everything ultimately leads to the same goal is a very, very beginning approach. But we should have more conversations and repetitive conversations on bringing the Hindu society more aware that the goal is to prioritize my identity as a soul,
Correct.
which is something which we are missing.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
therefore, one of my goals, or that the goal of many spiritual organizations, is to enable more and more people to experience that transformation through practice. That practice is what is known as sadhana.
Brilliant.
So therefore, many spiritual organizations are there and they are giving different types of sadhana.
Ji.
And we need people to scroll the YouTube videos and all kinds of Instagram reels and everything to get some idea of where they want to go and how they want to go spiritually. But they have to pause that scrolling at some point and start implementing by spending quality time in their lives for their daily reflective practices. That's called sadhana.
Amazing.
So therefore that sadhana is very important. Bhajanera madhye sreshta navavida bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhare mahashakti Tara madhye sarasreshta nama sankirtan nirapradhe namalele pai premadan. So in the bhakti tradition of Lord Chaitanya Gaudiya Sampradaya, we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that process is described as our sadhana to achieve the sadhya or the goal of Krishna Prema. So like that, different traditions have their sadhana and their sadhya.
Ji.
So that's what is the purpose of all of Vedic teachings, to help people unpack the joy and bliss within their soul by connecting with the Super Soul.
Amazing and superb. I think the way our conversation is going, Prabhuji, it is becoming very easy for everybody to understand the depth of our birth, because why we are born, the ultimate goal. I mean, it is so beautifully told by, also in this episode, first episode of podcast, friends, I repeat, we are honored to get the blessing of Gauranga Prabhuji. And I have because I follow your podcast and your reels, and you are one amongst the many few of the monks who talk so beautifully on human relationships. I have heard you, and you've spoken so beautifully on love, on romance, on the relationship of a brother, a brother sister, of two friends, of a husband and a wife, because these are all, as you said, this is all a grihastha duty that everybody is doing. But the ultimate goal is to be connected with the Supreme. So, your teachings, I mean, the beautiful way in which you tell the regular day to day दोस्ती यारी में जो हम लोग के जो relationships होते हैं, how do you manage to do that, Prabhuji? Because that is so beautifully put by a monk to us कि I have seen your podcast, and you've told somewhere that if somebody is not valuing your time, you have to, self esteem and self respect is very important. You cannot let anybody take you for granted. So this coming from a monk, because mostly we have heard to say that ठीक है, जो जैसा बोल रहा है बोलने दो, जो जैसा कर रहा है करने दो, you are connected with the God, fine. But when we are human beings and when we are in the society, then definitely कहीं पे ये सारी चीज़ें hurt करती हैं, चुभती हैं. And I think from your teachings, we get to know, we get a sort of solution. Let us know and you tell us how to deal with it. So how do you manage to say this गृहस्थ जीवन में जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स, छोटी छोटी रोज़मर्रा की जो डेली लाइफ की जो इश्यूज होती हैं, कुलीग्स के साथ जो हम लोग फेस करते हैं, बॉस के साथ, सबऑर्डिनेट्स के साथ, हाउ डू यू मैनेज टू डू दैट, you yourself being a monk?
See, somebody may be a cardiac surgeon.
जी.
Doesn't mean he must have had few heart attacks.
So true, so true.
So, the two most popular serials during COVID,
जी.
which broke all records of TRP, was Mahabharata and Ramayana.
Absolutely. Yes.
And both Ramayana and Mahabharata are centered around the principle of family misunderstanding.
जी.
All relationships which can get messed up are unpacked in great detail in both.
जी.
All kinds of misunderstandings which happen, family drama, politics, trying to pull each other, trying to cross the boundary over one's own, relationships. All that is shown, and both Ram and Krishna demonstrate that it's more difficult to manage a family than to manage a kingdom.
जी.
So therefore, when there are informal relationships, it is all based on inspiration. Things can be controlled, but people can only be inspired.
Absolutely.
And therefore, in a gadget-driven world where everything can be controlled on gadget, people get used to control.
जी.
People get used to getting the response they want on pressing the button. And they start expecting the same with other people.
जी.
And then when they see that the people are not responding the way I expect them, then they feel that it is better to spend time with the gadget, which is more reliable, जो भरोसे का है. Whereas if I start a conversation with other person, I don't know which way it's going to go. So gradually, people start spending more and more time with the gadgets, becoming more and more lonely, and the relationship issues which should have been healed, it grows further. So therefore, I would say that practically all the Vedic scriptures, including Mahabharata, Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they give very detailed description about all kinds of relationships.
जी.
And therefore, I think it's fantastic that, English translations of all of these are available.
जी.
And I recommend all of you that BBT has come out with an app known as Transcend app.
Okay.
So you can subscribe to the Transcend app.
Sure.
And also there is another website called vedabase.io.
Okay.
That's
Vedabase.
completely vedabase.io.
Yes.
So that also has all access to all the books.
Yes. Vedabase I've heard of.
So, sky's the limit to how much people can get trained in alignment with all these kinds of
जी.
social
जी.
and emotional obligations
जी
by understanding from the scriptures.
जी प्रभु जी, इतनी डीप और इतनी अच्छी कॉन्वर्सेशंस के बाद आई वुड स्टिल लाइक टू गो टू योर चाइल्डहुड एंड नॉट चाइल्डहुड बट योर यूथहुड. When you decided to become a monk, what was the response of your parents and of your siblings, of your cousins? So they have been your personal, realm. So what was their response?
Initially, the response was that of, surprise and I would say shock also as to what has made me do this. But because we had such a close and well understanding relationships, so they all realized that I would not take a step and decision without carefully considering why I am doing it. So they had trust that if I am following a certain path, it must be after due consideration. So over a course of time, many of them have also started following and practicing, and I would say that it took some time
It
for
did.
that alignment to happen.
Sure, sure. I'm sure, because it is so difficult for parents and for your own family, even if they know that you're going for the highest good, still to be far away from you, it is very difficult for the family. Similar to how the Javans face. So it is a very difficult decision. But I'm sure that definitely their trust shows, and I'm glad that you are doing what you're doing because we are benefiting so much, from your teachings. Prabhuji, there is a very, I wouldn't say there is a misconception, but the clarity needs to be there regarding moksha. Moksha is a very heavy word. It's a very deep word. So there is one thing in the youth को लगता है कि अगर religion और spirituality करना है तो we are young. Why do we do it now? We'll do it after 60 years of age.
Right.
When the body doesn't,
I got it.
cooperate. So उनको लगता है मोक्ष पाना is just moksha is only that you're dying and you're going away. But that is not what moksha
Got
is.
it.
So would you please explain that a little?
Yeah. Suppose some youth is planning for JEE exam,
जी
IIT, or somebody is preparing for NEET,
जी
somebody is preparing for UPSC.
जी
So when the students make those goals,
जी
they start preparing 4-5 years in advance.
absolutely.
So cracking those exams is equivalent to moksha, in the sense
So true.
attaining a certain position, attaining a certain experience.
जी
In our context, the examination is the moment of death. After death, where do we enter? So there are multiple options available, just like in multiple colleges are available. But what is the difference in somebody who tries for JEE, IIMs, and NEET and UPSC? Is they want to go for privileged experiences.
जी
So those who are yogis, they are the ones who try the UPSC. Yogi is the person who is aspiring for privileged experiences after death.
okay.
Bhogi is the person who doesn't care if he gets into the any kind of college which is available. All he needs is just to do some time pass for 2-3 years. So therefore, yogis are the one who live life intentionally, just like the student who's wanting to crack UPSC is spending 5 years intentionally. Every moment is intentional. He is in the present, but his one eye is on the future.
Amazing.
So yogi is the one who's conscious of the present because they are targeting the future. Therefore, 5 things are there in spirituality. Where you are today, what will be your destination after death? What will be your experience after that, after reaching that destination? What is the path you want to take? What are the obstacles in your journey? These 5 things are common in all religions, all traditions. Even within Hinduism, you change one of these parameters, the name will change from Dvaita to Advaita to Vishishtadvaita and all these things.
Correct.
सारा diversity ये 5 चीज का ही खेल है. Therefore, once you understand, you realize that it is all about interest in planning for a destination beyond death. 99% स्टूडेंट पॉपुलेशन बोला अरे जो भी होगा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता यार, अपने इतना क्यों पढ़ाई करना है, पिक्चर देखो, ये देखो, वो देखो. लेकिन वो थोड़े स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं जो दिन रात खटते हैं, बिकॉज दे हैव a very intentional, clear-cut goal.
Absolutely.
Those are the yogis.
So beautifully and amazingly put, Guruji.
Thank you.
And because I myself am a software engineer, so I know what goes into becoming one. So and we are here in Govardhan Eco Village, and it's a very unique place because you've created the entire Mathura, Vrindavan, Barsana, everything here, and it's a beautiful place. But then more than me telling this to you, friends, it should come from the founder, from the creator, from the person who has done it. So please, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Bharat is famous for temple towns: Varanasi, Vrindavan, Mathura, Badrinath, Dwarka, Puri, Srirangam, Udupi, Jagannath Puri. So these temple towns have spirituality at the center. The lifestyle is sustainable, and they also create social impact around. So people all around are engaged in supporting the temple economy, are engaged in supporting various activities. So today India has as part of the GDP $230 billion, which India earns through tourism, out of which $70 billion comes from only spiritual tourism. So we thought that there are ancient temple towns, why can't we create new temple towns? So Govardhan Eco Village is the recreation of a new temple town, where in Palghar district, 85 kilometers from the Mumbai International T2 airport, over 100 acres, we have created a hub of spirituality, recreated Braj Bhumi Vrindavan with Yamuna Devi, Govardhan, Giriraj, Parikrama, 14 temples, darshans, kirtans, so that people can come as a spiritual pilgrimage, Tirth Yatra.
Absolutely.
Then all the buildings have been created as per the Indian Green Building Codes. And I am a fellow of the Indian Green Building Council. And 35 criteria were given. Based on that, food, water, energy and waste have been conserved. And then we are doing on the third level community development around more than 500 villages, and we have helped more than 10,000 farmers come above poverty line. We are involved in rural development, skill development, women empowerment, creating self-help groups, doing all kinds of watershed management, helping farmers by preserving their seeds. So when there is harmony of the self with the divine, that's called spirituality. When there is harmony with nature, that's called sustainability. When there is harmony with the community, it's called social impact.
Super.
So therefore, the whole Govardhan Eco Village is a beautiful example of spirituality, sustainability, social impact, S3 impact. We had presented this model very recently at Harvard also, at various IITs and IIMs also. And I must say that to experience this, we have 120 rooms with almost 85 rooms air conditioned, and 3 bungalows also, 3 Kamyaman villas where people can come, stay, experience. We have Ayurveda facility with Vaidya Ratnam all the way from Kerala. They are running Ayurvedic center here. We have yoga. We are attached to the Ayush Ministry, Government of India, who are supporting us, helping us in every way. And we have excellent pilgrimage facilities available with a Goshala with 120 cows. So all of this at one place, you can come and experience at the Govardhan Eco Village. And thanks to you and your team for coming and experiencing this. You are more than happy to visit us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We are honored and privileged. आपके आशीर्वाद से हम ये शुरू कर रहे हैं. Please bless us that we can take this podcast ahead. We are doing this documentary and we are doing this content on Govardhan Village, friends. So we'll be coming to you very soon with the Ashirwad of Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहच्चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते.